Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, out of all of the self-improvement habits that I speak on this channel and that we do, working out, meditating, journaling, honestly, reading is the one that I struggle with the most. Like, since I was a little kid, I always just used to hate reading. I always just hated reading books. I hated it. I could have never imagined that I would be able to read all these books, but it was just one thing, one specific thing that I did that made me go from someone who couldn't even read a single sentence to someone who has read all these books and more. And now I can honestly, confidently, happily say that I can actually read for hours and not get bored, and actually it will be very fun for me. Very easily I can read a book a week. That's what I'm gonna say, alright? Just because of this one thing that I'm gonna tell you on this channel. And I'm gonna tell you on this video. Bro, there is one trick, one thing that will literally make you go from someone who can't read a single sentence, a single word, to someone who can easily read a full book in 3 to 4 days. I'm not even taking the piss. I'm literally being honest. This is insane, and no one talks about this, bro. This is literally insane. The single greatest way to read books for hours, very, very easily, is to read books that you are interested in and books that you want to read. And I'm gonna explain this very, very clearly, very, very well, right? So, books that you're interested in and books that you want to read. And this is especially true if you're just starting out reading. If you're just starting out to read, you're just beginning to read, you're not really into like the reading space, you don't really like to read, read books that you are interested in, you actually want to read, bro. Like, think about the thing that you think about most of the day. Like, most of the day, there's probably like just one thing that you think about most of the day. Let's say it's girls, right? You think about how to get girls, how to attract girls, how to have good relationships with girls, things like that, right? There are so many books, and I've recommended a few, and I will recommend a few for you, on how to get girls, how to attract girls, how to be the guy that women are obsessed with, how to be the guy how to be the alpha male, the top guy, how to be in the top 1%, how to make more money. There are so many books on women and relationships and girls. If you read a book like that, I promise you will finish that book in 3 to 4 days, even if you can't read, even if you hate reading. And I'm actually gonna tell you a story here. And this, like, I usually tell stories that happened like a few months ago. This happened like 1 or 2 weeks ago, honestly. So I was really, or actually I'm a bit still into that like getting girls phase. Like, I'm researching so much on like how to attract women, how to make women obsessed with you, how to, be the alpha male, the top 1% man, the guy who gets all the girls. I'm researching that every single day, right? But the problem is, I was reading a book, and I'm not gonna say the name of the book, but it was honestly really, really boring for me. A book on how to make, money and things like that. And it was honestly really boring for me. Not because the book was bad, but because I was thinking about something else. I was interested in something else. So I told myself, you know what? I will not read this book. So I stopped reading that book, and I started reading a book. It's a fantastic book. It's called A Billion Wicked Thoughts, and it's a book on human desire, basically. So like, engineers at Google, they analyzed 1 billion searches on what men and women find sexually attractive, basically. But the book will teach you so much on like the type of porn that men watch and the type of porn that women watch. And it's actually fascinating. Like, men watch porn, visual content, and are more aroused by that, but women are much more interested in literary content, in reading, basically, in reading books, reading romance novels. Romance novels are basically porn for women, basically. But that's just a brief overview. So basically, when I read that book that's called A Billion Wicked Thoughts, the book is 300 pages. I finished that book in literally 2 days because I was so interested and fascinated by the topic. You see what I mean? Like, read books that are fun. Read books that you actually want to read, that are actually fun for you. If you want to get girls, read books on girls. If you want to, make money, read books on money, bro. If you want to, build habits, read Atomic Habits, If you want to, you want to be a philosopher, read books on philosophy. If you want to get jacked, read books on how to build muscle. Read books on what you're interested in. There are hundreds, thousands, millions of books on the topic that you are interested in, that you really want to learn about. So pick just one topic, that you keep thinking about all the time. You have this desire to learn. You actually have a massive drive to learn, and that will make you successful. And you have proved that to me by watching this video. You actually want to learn how to read for hours very easily. So you want to learn, but you want to learn something that you're interested in, right? Not something like in school, like something in the educational system that you hate, that's boring as fuck. You want to learn something that you actually want to learn, right? That you're actually interested in. So read books on it. I promise you, it will be amazing. Even mental health, like a lot of guys, like they're fascinated, and I'm one of these guys, like they're fascinated by the topic of mental health. Like, how do I improve my mental health? There are tons of books on how to improve mental health, right? Everything I say it from the books that I've read. It's that simple. So read books on what you're interested in. Now, the reason I'm saying, and this will blow your mind, like this will really, really blow your mind, bro. You basically, like, if you actually could understand this, like, you're honestly like a G. Like, you're a G if you'll actually understand this, because I've learned this from a lot of like psychology books, and like Carl Jung and Sigmund Freud, like a lot of psychology books. I've learned this from it. So you have two versions, or you right now, you have an identity, right? You have an identity, like you are an identity, right? So we'll call you, your identity, we'll call it V1, version 1, which is you right now. You're trying to improve yourself, you're trying to go into the gym, you're probably a bit depressed, you're a bit stressed, maybe right, maybe wrong. Like, I'm just, predicting, but you basically, everything you know about the world, your beliefs, your characteristics, everything about you, but this version 1 of you right now, you probably hate reading. You probably don't like reading that much, and that's totally normal. I was in the same position as you, bro, and that's why you're watching this video. So you probably hate reading, right? You hate reading. You can't. It's very hard for you to read. You'd rather scroll on social media. That's normal, and I was in the same position as well. But there is another version of you, and we'll call him V. Actually, make him a bit shorter. We'll call him version 2. Now, version 2, he actually loves reading books. Like, this is the version of you when you're like, you love reading. You read like 100 pages a day. You love reading more than social media, right? So this version of you, this is you right now, and you hate reading. And this is you in the future who loves reading. You know, he reads like 100 pages a day, like just reads like a maniac, right? But the thing is, the only way to go from version 1, which is you right now, who hates reading, to the guy who literally is obsessed with reading, who reads for hours very, very easily and loves reading, the only way to go from here to here is through pain. I'm just being honest. It's just through brutal pain. And I'm not talking about like physical pain. I'm talking about the pain of having to get every single day, even when you don't feel like it, you get up a book and you start reading it. That's the pain I'm talking about, right? And the more you do that, the more you get closer to your future self who loves reading, who is obsessed with reading, and you kill off this old self. You see what I mean? So basically, the more disciplined, I'll actually not call this pain, I'll call this discipline. The only way to go from version 1 to version 2 is through discipline. It's disciplining yourself every single day to read, even when you hate it, even when you don't feel like it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm guilty of this as well. I'm not perfect. I know I've read all these books, but I'm not really that good at reading. I still have this version of me not killed. I struggle, but we're in this together, like I always say. So basically, reading is very, very hard at the beginning. It sucks. You hate it. Like, you can't focus on what's written. Like, you just hate reading. It's very hard at the beginning. You hate it. It sucks. Right? You don't want to do it. Right? But the more you read, the more you just keep reading easier, and the more you love it. The more you love it, and the more you just you're obsessed with it. Right? You just can't stop reading, and you can't stop learning, and you have this like insane desire to just keep learning, right? So the best way to do this is to just, I'm gonna have to erase all this. So the best way to just go from someone who hates reading, doesn't like it at all, to someone who just loves reading, even topics he's not interested in, is to first start with topics. Start with topics that you are really interested in. This is basically like all you need. Just start with topics that you are really interested in. That's it. Because you don't have to make it harder than it already is. You already hate reading. But when you start with topics that you are already interested in, you just love reading. Because you like that topic. You want to learn about that topic. So you don't really care about reading. You just, I'll just read because I want to learn about that topic, right? And don't bullshit yourself, bro, and tell me like, no, I don't have a topic that I'm interested in. You do. There's probably something you think about most of the day, right? And it's probably girls. Like, I'm just being honest. It's probably just getting girls. I'll give you some books on how to get girls that helped me a lot. A Billion Wicked Thoughts is a very good book. Morals by Mark Manson is a very good book. And yeah, those are the ones I've read so far, but I'll tell you some more. I'll make a video on books on how to get girls, basically. But it might not be that. It might be, making money. You should read Rich Dad Poor Dad, A Millionaire Fast Lane, Psychology of Money, all these amazing books. It could be, psychology. You read Laws of Human Nature, right? You read How to Influence People. So read what you are interested in. I'll actually tell you another story. I used to absolutely hate reading when I first started self-improvement. I used to hate reading, like hated, couldn't even read one sentence, right? But this book right here, just want to make sure. This book right here, How to Influence and Influence People. I had absolute shit social skills. Like, I had severe social anxiety. I couldn't focus on what someone was saying at all, right? At all. I used to procrastinate so much, couldn't focus on, like, someone would speak to me, like I'm speaking to you right now, and my mind would literally wander into so many thoughts that I wouldn't even understand what he was saying. And the problem is, people would notice that, and they would be like, I don't want to be your friend. People would be repulsed by me, right? So there was a lot of pain. There was a lot of pain inside me because I had like zero friends. No one wanted to talk to me. Everyone hated me. I had social anxiety, right? But then I got recommended this book, and everyone was saying like this book is like the great book of social skills, the Bible of social skills, basically. And I forced myself to read this. I started with literally reading 1 page a day. Like, I remember I was in the car. I used to read just 3 pages and then put this down and have like a headache, right? Like, I literally would read this book just 3 pages. Every day, 3 pages, 3 pages, 3 pages. Because I hated reading, but I was just so interested and just really, really, really wanted to learn what was in this book. And then I learned what was actually in this book, and I started implementing it, and it actually worked. I started having more and more friends, and more people liked me. And then I kept reading it, and I just became the guy who just loves reading as a byproduct of reading something that I was interested in. And after this book, I read the book The Millionaire Fast Lane by MJ DeMarco. And this is a big book, by the way. This book is like, it's 400 pages. But I was able to read it because it was also another topic I was very interested in, which is making money at that time. And then I read Atomic Habits because I wanted to stop playing video games and watching porn. So every single book of these I read because I was interested in that book. And you should do the same. You should read only, like, probably the first 100 books you should read, they should be books that you are strictly and obsessively interested in. They should be only books that you are interested in. The first 100 books you read, they should be books that you are interested in. Then you could read, like, someone recommended for you a book, you should read it, right? That's simple. Bro, if you just have to get just one thing from this video, read books that you are interested in. Read books that you actually want to read. Don't read a book because some influencer recommended it, even if it's a book that I recommended. Like, I always recommend this book, How to Influence and Influence People. But if someone isn't interested in improving his social skills, if you are not interested in improving your social skills, don't read this book. Read what you are interested in at the beginning, right? At the beginning. Build that habit of reading. And then you could, start reading books that you're not as interested in, right? As always, we're in this together and we're gonna make it. I promise you, we're gonna make it together. Peace, take care.